Good morning and welcome to Mindful Movement with AARP Alabama. I'm your host, Tawana. Us this morning, we have Becca Impella doing our yoga session. Good morning, Becca.
Good morning, Tawana. Nice to see you today.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here. Folks, we want to remind you that AARP is empowering people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization with more than 420,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate on their behalf, all of them, without regard to politics. So, Becca, what are we going to be focusing on today?
Well, I wanted to make sure we got a really good bit of relaxation in today. I mean, one of the real benefits of a mindful practice like yoga is that it can help us to de-stress and to relax. So we'll do some movement first because it's always good to sort of get the energy out and move our body. That's very helpful for bringing that relaxation on. But we're going to spend a little extra time at the end making sure we get a good relaxation session. I got a couple of guided practices that hopefully will be a nice experience for your members.
Oh, that sounds great. Folks, remember before you begin any exercise routine that it's going to be important that you check in with your physician to make sure you're not doing anything that can harm you. We always want to make sure that you make sure that you're in good shape to do these exercises because we don't want anyone to injure themselves while they're getting healthy. All right, Becca, I'm going to step out of the way and let you take over.
Great. So for today's practice, you're always going to have options. I want you to work with the options, the suggestions that make the most sense to you, and feel free to choose your own as we go along if something comes to mind. We're going to start standing, just do a couple of breathing things and loosening up, and then we're going to get down on the floor on hands and knees. However, if you don't choose to get down onto the floor, I'll show you some options for using a chair. So any kind of sturdy chair from your kitchen or your dining room or a folding chair like I happen to have works great. Just make sure it's going to be on a non-slip surface. Or you can get down on the floor. It'll be your choice. And then when we do our relaxation at the end, you'll have the same choice. You can sit in any kind of comfortable seat or chair, or you can lie down for the relaxation. So you'll be able to do it either way. All right, so let's stand up, get those feet a little bit apart, and go ahead and just rock back and forth on your feet a few times, just so you can feel your feet. I want you just to get aware of your feet. If you're wearing shoes, no problem. You can keep them on. If you're able to slip them off and you're comfortable in, bare or stocking feet, you can do that. Okay. See if you can get a little wiggle of your toes so that you can just feel your toes. Again, I just want you to feel your feet. All right. And then bend your knees and just kind of get heavier on those feet. All right. And then straighten up. Let's do this a couple times. Bend the knees and sit down. And then this time when you straighten up, reach up. And then bend the knees and just kind of sit down. And then inhale, big breath in. Straighten up, exhale. Drop the arms and sit. Inhale, reach up. If you like to look up, you can. And then again, drop those arms and sit. 2 more times. Big reach up, big breath in. Exhale, bend those knees, get a little heavy on those feet. Last time, reach up. And sit down. Good, now stand up tall and roll those shoulders a couple times. All right, shoulders come forward and up and then back and down. Make this slower. Breathe in fully. Exhale completely. Let's go ahead and make this a little bigger. Let those elbows do the circling now. Circle those elbows forward and up. Breathe in, exhale, back and down. Good. Now we're going to make a full arm circle. You can stick with shoulders or elbows if you'd rather, or take the arms all the way up, around, and back. Inhale up. And exhale back. 3 more. Hopefully this is just helping us get a little warmed up, breathing a little more fully, aware of our body. Shake those arms down. All right, let's loosen up the head and neck a bit. Turn that head to start with, side to side. You can keep the eyes open if your balance feels wobbly at all. Good. And the next time that head turns to one side, let the chin drop and slowly draw it across the chest until you get it all the way to the other shoulder. Pause and go back in front. Roll or drag that chin across the chest. Let's go 2 more times. Head rolls forward. All the way to that other shoulder. Or as far as feels comfortable, all movements can be made various sizes. And back to center. All right. Now let's take a little side stretch. I'm going to lose this extra shirt of mine because I'm feeling a little warmed up already. It'll free up my arm movements. All right. Let's reach the arms up. Now, if you want to, you can hold on to your wrist with the opposite hand and take a little pull up and over. If that's not comfortable, drop one arm down and reach up and over through the arm in the air. So either way. Good, and then bring it back to center and drop the arms down. Just take a moment to notice that feeling of stretching that one side of the body. And then other side, so reach up. Maybe you grab that wrist and give it a little tug. Remember, you have the option to do it with one arm if you would prefer. Good, and then back to center and drop that down. All right, now a little bit of twisting. I'm going to give you a couple choices for your arms. You can go hands across the chest. You can go arms out with a 90-degree bend at the elbow, or you can go arms extended straight out, okay? So either one or one of those 3 choices, okay? Take a deep breath in, and then turn or twist in one direction. And then come back to center, deep breath in, and then turn or twist the other way. Good. Again, back to center. Maybe your arms are that bent position, or remember they could be across the chest. Good. Let's take it one more to each side. Good. And then shake those arms down. Now, we're not going down to the floor quite yet. But I do want you to just stand with one leg back and one leg forward, okay? It's nice to have your feet apart width-wise so that there's more stability, okay? So the leg that's back behind you, I want you to push that leg nice and straight. Try to push down into that calf and that heel to get a little stretch there. The front knee is bent. However far it feels like it's a good idea for you, that knee feels safe, feels comfortable. Lift up from your belly, lift up your chest. Bring those arms overhead if that feels okay. You could also take them at your sides or down. All right. Take a deep breath in, stretch up. This is a good one for just releasing that hip, getting some space there. All right, drop those arms down and slowly switch the feet. Fix my mat there. All right, so other leg is back, okay? Press into that leg behind you, down into that heel. Bend that front knee, however much you want to bend it. Lift up from that belly and choose your arm position. So remember, those arms can be almost anywhere. Just be purposeful about it. See what makes sense for you. See what feels good. Good. And then release it and come back to standing tall. Now we're going to do that one again, but add some movement to it. So let's go ahead and step back. This is warrior one. This position of the legs is often called warrior one. All right. So this time we're going to make some movement. That front knee is going to straighten and bend. Straighten and bend, okay? And we're going to take the arms with us. So reach the arms forward or up as you bend, and then reach the arms back behind as you straighten. So bend the knee, reach up, big breath in, and then straighten the knee, reach back. Bend the knee, reach up. Still keeping that back leg nice and anchored. 2 more. One more. All right, now we're going to stop in this position with the arms at our sides or maybe back, the front knee straight, and just take a little lean forward. Okay, so it might not be very much depending on how tight you are in your hamstrings and your hip. So just go forward a bit until maybe you feel some stretch in that leg or till it just feels like a good place to stop. All right, and then bring it up and step in. All right, just pause a moment. Notice how things feel. Other side, so stepping the other leg back, finding that warrior one stance. All right, go ahead and just test out your knee. Straighten and bend it a few times. See if you feel like you're about the right spacing, the right distance. And then let's add the arms when you're ready. Inhale, reach them up. You could be reaching them to here if you want. And then straighten the knee and reach the arms back. Good. Keep going. About 3 more. Inhale, bend the knee, reach up. Exhale, straighten the knee, reach back. Last one. Now we're going to stay with that front leg straight, arms back. Keep the spine nice and straight and just lean forward a bit until you maybe feel a stretch in the back of that forward leg. All right, and then let's come on up. All right, now we're going to take this down to the floor as I mentioned. So I'm going to show just quickly what this might look like if you're using a chair. Okay, if you know you're going to come down to the floor, you can go ahead and get down onto your hands and knees. Make sure you have enough cushion under your knees that they're comfortable. If you don't want to get down on the floor, want to try using the chair, you're going to fold forward and put your hands on the seat of the chair, and then you'll be able to do pretty much all the same movements. All right, so either hands and knees on the floor or hands on the chair. Let's begin some cat. This is where we round our back up towards the ceiling. And cow. This is where we flatten our back and maybe even curve it under. It's good to bend your knees if you're standing. All right, so whether you're on the floor or here in the chair with me, go ahead and start your cat and cow movements. Now we want this to feel good for the spine. It's a nice mobilization of all of the spine. So pay attention. See what parts of your body are moving easily. What parts feel a little bit stiff. All right. Keep this going about 3 more times. I'm going to come down to the floor just to make sure everybody's following me down here on the ground as well. The only difference here is that your legs, your knees pretty much stay the same the whole time. All right, now let's try a little strengthening work. So everyone's going to come to what we'll call flat or tabletop back. So you're not rounded and you're not arched, okay? If you're standing up, you're going to put your feet closer together to start with, and then take the right leg back. All right, so everyone's taking the right leg back. You get to decide how high. If you need it to touch the ground, those toes can touch the ground. You can lift it up, maybe as high as your hip. And then we try and balance. Take the left arm forward. Okay, so you lift the left arm, got the right leg and the left arm up at the same time. There might be some wobbles. It's okay to touch the ground. And then drop that hand and knee back down. All right, other side. So take the left leg back. Remember, if you need to touch the ground, you can. It may be hard to get the leg all the way up if you're standing. Just take it behind you any amount. And then when you're ready, add that reach through the right arm forward. Good. All right, and then bringing it down. Now we're going to take it to a downward facing dog. So from here on the ground, I'm going to tuck my toes under, push into my hands, and lift the hips up and back, but keep the knees a little bit bent, okay? And then you can take a little walk here. If you're in the chair, it's pretty similar. Just going to walk the feet back and push the hips back, and those arms get long, the spine gets that same kind of length as downward dog on the floor. Same rule, the knees can be bent. You may experiment with moving back and forth, hips and knees. All right. Now we're going to come to a plank position. So in the chair, it looks like this. I just shift my weight so that my shoulders are over the seat of the chair. I'm pushing nice and firmly, okay? If you're on the ground, you're shifting forward and into a plank position, and you could drop your knees to the floor if you're here on the ground, all right? Let's take about 3 more breaths. Just hold that plank nice and strong. Good, and then push it back to the downward facing dog again. If you're on the ground, you have the option to put your knees back down and do an extended child's pose instead. All right, let's all come back to tabletop, okay? So if you're standing up using the chair, you're gonna walk your feet in a little closer, get back to this spine flat position. Let's do our balancing work one more time each side. Right leg back, left arm forward. This is great for strengthening the lower back, the core, the hips, and the shoulders. And then take that down. Go ahead and switch out to the other side. You keep holding there. I'm going to show what this looks like standing up in the chair. Good. Hand and knee down, and then let's take it to downward facing dog. So hips press back, arms get long. Good. Now we're going to take it to a lunge position. So standing here in the chair, I'm going to bring my left foot forward and maybe walk that right foot back. And I've got the chair to hold on to as much as I need. Down on the ground, 2 choices. Left foot forward and that back knee down. You can come up right here. Okay. If you feel like you're okay keeping those hands on the floor and you want to stay low, you can take a low lunge with those hands down on the floor. So we've got kneeling lunge. We've got lunge in the chair. Or we've got that low lunge with the hands down on the floor. Take one more breath. We're going to make a transition to downward facing dog. If you're on your knee, you're going to come to hands and knees first, and then push those hips back. And then let's do the other side. So step the right foot forward. Okay, good. You could be down here on that left knee, drawing that belly up, getting the chest tall. You could also be hands on the floor if you feel comfortable with this much of a lunge. All right, so you got to pick what works for you. Good. And then one more time, let's go to that downward facing dog. Walk the legs back if you're standing. Go to hands and knees first and tuck the toes and go up and back with the hips if you're on the ground. Good. And then bring it all the way back up to standing. Take your time. Good work. We're going to come back up to standing where we started and just take a moment. We're going to work a little bit on some balance challenge here as we start to slow things down a little bit. And then we'll end up with our relaxation period. All right. So our first balance challenge is going to be simply coming up onto our tiptoes. Have something handy to hold on to if you've got any concerns about safety. So it could be your chair, could be a wall, could be a piece of furniture. And just see, can you rise up on your tippy toes? And can you go slowly back down? All right, and just do this slow motion a couple of times. Up on the tippy toes, back down to the heels. If you feel like your arms are free to raise up with you, you can take those arms up and down. All right, if you need to keep holding on, maybe you raise one arm up. Slowly down. If this is super easy for you, balancing like this is no problem, you could try closing your eyes. Okay, that's going to make it quite wobbly, so be careful. All right, now that we've got a little warm up for our balance, let's stand on one leg and bring the other leg so that the knee turns out and the foot lifts up, maybe on the ankle, could even touch the floor, maybe up on the calf, maybe even all the way up into your thigh. All right, so wherever on that leg works for you, and then try and stand nice and tall. Squeeze in with those hips, lift up with the chest. If you've got, again, some freedom with either or both arms, you can try to reach them out and up. This is called tree pose. So you can channel that spreading out of the trees, that little bit of sway like the wind is blowing through the branches. All right, and then slowly bring the arm down if it's up, the leg down, shake it out. Just pause a moment. Notice the work of that standing leg right now. Maybe you can feel that little bit of fatigue there. All right, and then let's go to the other side. So shift your weight into your other leg. Turn that knee out. Okay, bring the foot somewhere on that standing leg, close to the floor or up higher, you choose. And then try to press firmly down into the standing leg, in with the hips, up nice and tall. See if you want to take those branches and spread them out anywhere. Keep breathing. Eyes focused on one spot will help you with that balance work. Good. And then let's bring it all the way back to both feet on the floor. Shake it out a little bit. All right, good. We've gotten a little bit of stretching and movement. We've gotten a little bit of strength work and balance work. Now we're going to work with that relaxation effect. So like I said, you can either sit in a chair to do relaxation or you can lie down on the floor. Okay, so either way. Okay, so if it's easy, comfortable for you to get down on the ground, get down on the ground. And if it's easier to stay seated right now, stay in a comfortable seat. I'm going to stay seated. It's going to make me a little more able to deliver the instructions. And we're going to do what's called a progressive relaxation exercise. So this is going to involve tightening up different parts of the body, contracting and engaging muscles around joints for a couple of moments, and then consciously letting them go and soften and feeling the effect of that. We're going to do that through the whole body, and it can be real helpful at bringing about some relaxation to the nervous system. All right, so we're going to start with the right hand. Okay, so you're going to start with your right hand, and you're just going to, wherever you want to let it rest, or on the floor, or hanging at your side, or even out to the side if you want, you're going to make a fist. You're going to tighten up that arm. You're going to try to tighten it up all the way up to the shoulder. Reach out with that arm like it's trying to push through the wall. Hold the fist nice and tight for another 1 or 2 breaths. Just that right arm. And then I want you to let that right arm go. Just let it relax. Feel the blood flow through it. Now we'll take that over to the left arm. Take your left arm wherever you want. Make that fist. Really tighten up that whole arm. Reach out with that arm like it's trying to pull away from the body. Keep that arm engaged, nice and tight. One more breath. And then let that arm relax. Take a moment just to notice that sensation of letting go, of being at ease in those muscles. Now we move to the legs. So figure out how you want to engage that leg. You can stretch it out long if you're lying down. We're going to kind of flex the foot, spread the toes, tighten up the quad on the front of the thigh by, straightening the knee. Even see if you can tighten up the buttock on that right side. Squeeze that right buttock. Hold that leg really, really tight. Try to let everything else be relaxed. And then on an exhale, soften that leg. Let it go limp. Let it really soften. Completely let it go. Just watch it as all those muscles relax and the blood flows. And then the left leg, same thing. Go ahead and just reach out through that foot, spread out those toes, engage that muscle in the thigh, squeeze the buttock. Get that leg really, really active. Hold it there another breath or two. And then exhale and relax. Let that whole leg soften from the hip all the way down to the toes. All right, now we're going to do the face, head, and neck area, okay? So don't overdo it. I don't want you to strain any muscles. But bring those shoulders up towards your ears. Scrunch up your eyes. Scrunch up your nose. Maybe clench your teeth if that doesn't hurt anything. Keep all the muscles of the face nice and tight. Shoulders up. And then let it go. Just feel that softening. All right, now we're going to finish by doing the whole body for about 3 breaths. So both arms tight, fists engaged, both legs engaged, squeeze the buttocks, pull the shoulders up, tighten up the face. Good, one more big breath in. Exhale and let it all soften. As we let it all relax that final time, we're going to just sort of see if we can settle into that softer, more relaxed place. Send your awareness to your face. Feel that sort of remaining tingle in the cheeks and the eyes and the forehead from all that scrunching. And see, can you soften and relax your face even further? The eyelids get a little bit smoother. Jaw drops a little bit more. Send that awareness down through your neck. Your shoulders get a little more heavy and relaxed. See if the arms can let go completely wherever they're resting. Look for any tension that you might be holding unconsciously around your belly. Just be nice and relaxed in your abdomen. Check in with the legs. Try to let them be nice and relaxed, heavy. And then we'll follow the breath for just our few final moments here in this relaxed state. Inhale comfortably, not too deep or forceful. Just try and exhale really, really slowly. The slowest exhale possible. And each time you exhale, just imagine that softening feeling, that feeling of letting go of the tension is just continuing. Each time you exhale, you're letting go a little bit more, you're softening a little bit more. About 3 more breaths. And then if you're lying down, you're just going to take some time to wiggle your body and gently roll it over and come up to a seat. If you're already seated, you might just sit forward and shake out those shoulders a little bit, or roll or turn the head. And just take a moment here before you move on to whatever's next, just to check in. Just notice how you feel after doing that bit of movement, and then that nice progressive relaxation and settling down there at the end. Thank you so much for having me with AARP of Alabama. I always enjoy bringing you guys some mindful movement. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Becca. Another great show. Folks, we're going to share some upcoming events. We want you to remember that AARP is advocating on your behalf. We have lots of fantastic programming coming up, so pay attention to this video. Another great show. Thank you, Becca. Got a couple of folks wanted to chime in and say thanks. Great episode today. Folks, we'll see you next time.
Bye. Great to have everyone. See you in a couple weeks. Mm-hmm.